The slap echoed through the crowded showroom louder than any announcement, louder than the hum of air conditioners and murmuring customers. In that single moment, time seemed to freeze. An old man stood trembling, his head bowed, his dignity shattered in front of strangers who had gathered only to buy and sell, not to witness cruelty. The salesman, young and sharp, suited, stood tall with anger still burning in his eyes, unaware that this small act of humiliation was about to change many lives forever. What happened next would leave everyone present silent, ashamed, and deeply transformed. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that no act of cruelty goes unnoticed by life itself, then take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more heart-touching stories that remind us what it truly means to be human. The old man had entered the electronics showroom slowly that afternoon, his worn shoes dragging slightly against the polished marble floor. His clothes were clean but old, carefully ironed yet faded by time. He carried himself with the quiet humility of someone who had learned long ago to take up as little space as possible. In his hands was a small cloth bag, clutched tightly as if it contained his entire world. He had saved for months, perhaps years, to buy a simple mobile phone, not for luxury, not for status, but to stay connected to the one remaining piece of family he had left. The showroom was alive with noise and movement. Bright screens flashed advertisements, salesmen laughed among themselves, and customers compared prices. Amid all this, the old man seemed invisible. He waited patiently, standing near a counter, watching others be served before him. When his turn finally came, he spoke softly, his voice barely rising above the background chatter. He asked for the cheapest phone available, explaining in broken sentences that he only needed it to make calls. The salesman assigned to him barely looked up at first. He was having a bad day, frustrated by low commissions and a strict manager watching his every move. When he finally glanced at the old man, irritation washed over his face. He judged him instantly by his appearance, by the wrinkles on his face, by the hesitation in his voice. The old man took out his savings slowly, counting worn notes with shaking fingers. The process was slow, careful, almost painful to watch. Impatience turned into mockery. The salesman's tone grew sharp. Customers nearby began to notice. The old man tried to explain himself, but his words came out confused, tangled by nervousness and fear of being a burden. In a moment of uncontrolled anger, the salesman lashed out, striking the old man across the face and accusing him of wasting time and embarrassing the store. The sound cut through the air like a knife. The old man did not fall, he did not shout, he did not fight back. He simply stood there, eyes moist, hands trembling, his pride crumbling in silence. A red mark bloomed on his cheek, a painful symbol of how easily society forgets compassion. People stared, some in shock, some in discomfort, others pretending not to see. No one spoke, no one moved. The old man bent down slowly, picking up the notes that had slipped from his hand, his shoulders heavy with shame. As he turned to leave, something unexpected happened. The store manager, who had been watching from a distance, rushed forward. His face had gone pale, not just from fear of trouble, but from recognition. He stared at the old man more closely now, at the familiar eyes, the familiar posture. Memories from decades ago came flooding back, memories of a struggling childhood, of a kind stranger who had once helped him when he had nothing. The manager stepped in front of the old man, stopping him gently. The entire showroom fell into an uneasy silence. The salesman's confidence began to crack as he realized something was wrong. The manager bowed his head slightly, not as a gesture of authority, but of respect. He took the old man's hands carefully, as if afraid they might break, and helped him sit down. What followed was not loud or dramatic, but it was powerful. The manager revealed in a voice thick with emotion, that years ago, when he was a poor student living on the streets, this very old man had helped him. He had given him food when he was starving, money when he had none, and encouragement when the world had turned its back on him. The old man had never known what became of the boy he helped. He had never expected anything in return. The truth spread through the room like electricity. Customers felt their throats tighten. Staff members lowered their eyes in shame. The salesman stood frozen, the weight of his actions crashing down on him all at once. The manager did not shout or insult him. Instead, he explained calmly how respect for elders and kindness toward the weak were the foundations of humanity, not obstacles to success. The old man tried to stand, insisting that he did not want trouble, that he only wanted to go home. But the manager would not allow him to leave in humiliation. He personally apologized to him, not just for the slap, but for a society that often forgets the value of its elders. He asked forgiveness on behalf of everyone present who had remained silent. The manager then did something no one expected. He handed the old man a brand new smartphone, far better than the one he had come to buy, along with accessories and a prepaid connection. He refused to take any money, but more than that, he offered the old man something far more valuable than a device. He offered him dignity. He invited him to return anytime, not as a customer, but as family. The salesman, shaken and overwhelmed, broke down. The realization of his cruelty hit him harder than any punishment could have. He apologized publicly, his voice trembling, acknowledging his mistake and the arrogance that had blinded him. It was not forgiveness he sought, but a chance to become better. The old man looked at him quietly for a long moment. There was pain in his eyes, but there was also kindness. He nodded slowly, accepting the apology without bitterness. In that simple gesture, the room felt lighter, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from everyone's chest. As the old man walked out of the showroom that day, he did not walk alone. People stood aside respectfully, some with tears in their eyes. What had begun as an act of humiliation had turned into a lesson no one would forget. A reminder that we never truly know the story behind a face, the sacrifices behind silence, or the power of kindness to come full circle. Before this story ends, take a moment and write a comment below about what this moment taught you. Your words might inspire someone else who is struggling silently today. Outside, the sun dipped low, casting a warm glow on the street. The old man paused for a moment, holding the small box in his hands, not because of what it contained, but because of what the day had restored: his faith in humanity. Somewhere behind him, a salesman learned humility, a manager repaid a lifelong debt, and a room full of strangers rediscovered compassion. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you to be kinder, more patient, and more human, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep these stories alive, spreading hope where it is needed most.